Good morning. Welcome to Coffee Talk. I'm Mark Bradberry. Please grab a cup and join me this morning. Over the years, when my kids were young and still at home, I realized that their mom and I had developed a a standard line anytime one of them was heading out for an activity. Have fun, you know. And no doubt we had a lot of standard lines, right? You do this as a parent, and if my kids happen to watch this video, I'm sure that they'll remind me of a few of those. But we were serious. We genuinely wanted them to have fun. It was an encouragement sort of thing. We did very honestly want them to enjoy themselves, to go out there and to live big, to not to sit around and be miserable, but to get involved, to be proactive, to make the best of life, to enjoy themselves, to have fun. You know, but look, I will be honest with you this morning. It's honestly some advice that, well, I should have taken to heart myself even, decades before. It probably would have made for a happier life. And, well, I wouldn't have earned my kids' oh so thoughtful gift of a Disney t-shirt, which bore the logo of Grumpy University. Yeah. Well, yeah. Hey, kids, by the way, I admit, yeah, that was funny, and but I honestly just didn't really think so at the time, But grumpy people rarely do. But eventually, it became clear to me that I had missed out on this wonderful opportunity to lighten up and laugh at myself. Even as, guys, you were sending me this well-meaning message, which was simply to, lighten up, Dad. Sorry about that. But, I learned the hard way, through life that joy comes from the inside. Do you know where grumpy old men come from? They come from grumpy young men. Yeah, that's it. They start out that way. Joy is not dependent on circumstances. It's not dependent on the scenarios that are outside of our life. It comes from, it comes from within. Joy comes from the inside out. It doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing or who you're around. You can still enjoy yourself and be content. Hey, we're getting into the summertime here. Maybe you'll be standing in line at a theme park in 97-degree weather. The aroma of hot asphalt. Oh, it's a wonderful thing. Well, might not always be particularly fun, but, consider you're outside. You're out there enjoying yourself. You're surrounded by people. You're surrounded by fresh air. And maybe, probably, you're standing there with a group of your friends. It's not such a bad thing after all. Or, maybe you find yourself waiting in a dentist's office, for a root canal. But think, what if you didn't have a dentist? Or what if it was a different sort of problem altogether? You're not even there by yourself, because there's a lot of other people there in the dentist office who are needing help as well. Not a bad thing. Maybe you're waiting for a meal in a restaurant where the service has been particularly slow. Well, at least you're able to buy the food, and I bet that waitress would benefit greatly from a smile and a word of encouragement. Maybe you're just bored out of your mind and you're standing around watching the grass grow. Well, when's the last time that you took a moment just to really appreciate the complex simplicity of a blade of grass? Maybe you should look around and wonderfully be amazed at God's creation and all that he has done for us. The Apostle Paul talked about bad situations, and he had a few. He said, I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. Yeah, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I've learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, or living in plenty or in want. Paul had really good reason to be grumpy and discontent. He had been whipped, he had been beaten, he had been stoned, he had been shipwrecked, he had survived in an open sea. He was constantly on the move. He had been in danger from rivers and from bandits and from his fellow Jews and from Gentiles. He had been in danger in the city, in the country, at sea, and from false believers. He had worked and he had toiled and he had gone without sleep. But in all this, he knew, I can do all things through him who gives me strength. And he wasn't grumpy. He was content. Wow. Even without the t-shirt. You know, I can do a lot in myself, but I can't do a lot about the world, you know. I might not be able to change the world, but I've learned to trust the one who has it in his hands. You know, don't get yourself all wrapped up in the moment. Don't start moaning about how things ought to be. You know, get your head in the game and take charge of your thoughts in order to make them the way that they should be, right? Start by putting a smile on your face and a little bit of joy in your heart, and put one on your face every time you start to think negatively. You know, share a little of encouragement when you feel you need it yourself. And, you know, maybe, do you feel like crying? Maybe laugh a little, you know. Don't be grumpy. Don't be grumpy. Be happy. You're never too young to start, or too old. Enjoy your coffee.